Hello, so I thought I'd do another video for you, this one on formulas. And so on this particular problem, you're asked to solve the equation for a specific variable, and then they give you some amounts that you put in, and you're going to solve the equation for to find a certain answer to a question. So this is a pretty common one for this assignment. So I'm just going to go through this problem that's on the screen here. So it says use the formula S equals L minus RL, where S is the sale price, L is the list price, and R is the discount rate. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to solve the equation for R. And so there's actually two ways that we could solve this equation. So I'm going to show you both ways, and either way is correct, even though the equation ends up looking a little different. So if I have S equals L minus RL. Okay, and so what I could do is I could subtract L on both sides. Okay, so that's going to give me S minus L. L minus L here is 0, so then we're just going to have equals negative RL. Okay, so then I want to get this R by itself. So I'm going to divide, try again. I'm going to divide, that wasn't much better, by L. And you could also divide by negative L if you wanted to, or you could just divide by L and then do the negative 1 after, just to save some space. I'm going to divide by negative L. Okay, so that's going to make this 1. And so then I'm going to have S minus L over negative L equals R. Okay, and so some teachers would probably want you to write this so that you didn't have this negative 1 on the bottom, this negative L. So that would just mean you'd have to switch the signs of everything. So we would say negative S plus L over L equals R. Okay, so that's one way we could do it. And that's a perfectly fine answer. So let me just show you what the other method for solving this one looks like. So again, starting with my original equation, so S equals L minus R. Oh, I'm having a hard time writing. L. Okay, and so what you could do also is you could, because if you see how you have an L in both of these terms, and so you can kind of do the distributive property backwards. So what that means is that I'm going to take this L out, I'm going to put in some parentheses, and then I'm going to divide the L out of both terms. So if you think about, like, if you were going to distribute an L to both of the things inside, this is what you would end up with. And so we're going to do the opposite of that. So if I take an L away from L, if I divide it out, you'd have 1. If I take the L away from here, you'd have 1 minus R. Okay, so you could also do that and solve it this way. So then if I finish solving, I would divide by L on both sides. Okay, and so that would leave me with S over L. This would be L over L is 1 equals 1 minus R. Okay, so I still want to get this R by itself, so I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. So I have S over L minus 1 equals negative R, and then I'd have to divide by negative 1 on both sides. So that would give me negative S over L plus 1 equals R. Okay, so that one works too. All right, so now we need to take this equation that we have created. So I'm just going to stick with this one. So this is one we did last. I'm going to write it over here again. So we have negative S over L plus 1 equals R. So we're going to take this equation and we're going to substitute in these amounts. So we have our sale price is $40, so we're going to have negative 40 over the list price is $50. So over 50, and then plus 1 equals R. So then we just have to simplify this. So negative 40, and a rate, by the way, means you're going to have some kind of a percent. That's what a rate is. And so I'm going to go ahead and divide this and make it into a decimal. So negative 40 divided by 50 is going to be negative 0.8. Okay, and if you're not sure on something like that, just pull up your calculator. And so you would say negative 40 divided by 50, and that's negative 0.8. Okay, so I'm going to have negative 0.8 plus 1 equals R, and negative 0.8 plus 1 is going to be 0.2 equals R. Okay, and then finally, to make this a percent, anytime you do a percent, remember you have to move the decimal over 2 times. Okay, so that's going to leave me with a 20% discount rate. Okay, so that was kind of a long problem, but only because I did 2 different ways. Hey, if you have any questions on this or any other problem, feel free to give me a call. See you soon.